Who's to blame for the rise of knife crime? Government, parents, perpetrators, or victims?
Okay. I guess it's like a domino effect or like a chain effect. I would say it starts with the government. I know a lot of knife crime usually happens in areas that have a lot of poverty or aren't doing as well. You don't hear it so much in affluent areas, and it's discovering why these areas are like this. Is it because of government funding? They're taking away the NHS, people are running out of options, lack of jobs, lack of support, youth clubs closing down, libraries. I think there's loads that play into that, and I think the government haven't intervened enough in making the streets safer.
Yeah, I would agree. I'd say all of the above. It's all of those things. And I look at it.
You blame the government as well?
Yeah, so I look at it more of...
Wait, hold on. You blame the government as well?
Yeah, but I blame the government, the individual, like all of it.
I think it's
because
government, individual.
It's more, for me, it's more like a pyramid. Like, it's like colonial, then government, then like your family, then the individual, and then obviously the people around the individual, which is, you know, like the victims and stuff as well. Obviously, I'm not placing blame on the victim, but like you choose where you need to be in certain environments and everything, and who you associate with, and
some victims aren't.
I just want to clarify that a lot of victims recently haven't actually been directly involved.
Yeah. Thank you,
when
sister.
you look a certain way, you dress a certain way, you already may be a target to them.
So you blaming the way they dress?
No, but it,
No, not you.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm not blaming the way they dress, but
The way you carry yourself as
yeah, it does play a
it
part.
speaks volumes.
Yeah. And it shouldn't. You should be able to dress how you want and express yourself in the way that you want. But the communities that we live in, you can't afford to maybe dress a certain way.
So let me change it like this then. So if a female goes out and she's just wearing nothing but bra and knickers, does that mean, by your logic, hold on, by your logic,
everyone knows the answer to that. Of course
by your
not.
logic, does it mean we have a right to touch them?
Yeah, of course not, but the milieu, the environment that you live in, obviously you can choose to ignore that, and you know that like that you don't live by that reality in your head. Okay, cool, but like other people are living by that reality, so you have to play the game smart. Like,
So what do you think?
About
I think
Yes, who's to blame?
To be honest, I feel like everything's down to you as an individual, okay? But then that comes into play. Because at the end of the day, we can blame the government for a lot of things, but it hasn't really changed since how many grandparents? Do you understand? So as an individual, you're an individual, you've got parents, regardless of where you live, that's different, where you live and where knife crime happens. And knife crime does happen in these areas. We don't think it happens, but just the news is not on the news. It's just on the news about certain areas to portray a certain view. It's like a self-fulfilling thing. Knife crime happens in all these posh areas, but we just don't hear about it because they want to keep it nice and neat and and clean and stuff. So
the media has a big part to play, definitely. I think we should talk about that after. But I have a question. So those that said, blame on the individual as well. So let's say there's a 14-year-old boy.
The individual being the perpetrator or victim?
Being the perpetrator. Okay, same thing. There's a 14-year-old boy. He's grown up on an estate.
Wait, you can blame the victim?
Yeah, because not every victim's a victim.
Yeah, some people, it depends, it's situational, man.
Because just because you've fallen, like you died due to knife crime, doesn't mean that you haven't actually had a play in knife crime in itself. You could be a bystander, cool, but you can actually be active, involved in the culture of knife crime itself.
Yeah.
To say you're not necessarily a victim, but you are. You know what they say? You live by the gun, you die by the gun.
Yeah.
You know like that. It's about. I think the real question comes down to if it is government and social housing and raising, growing up on estates and whatnot. Are we totally say it's only black people that live on estates? I'm pretty sure it's white people and Asians, different sort of backgrounds. But why is it so? Why is the volume of black on black crime? Because really and truly, that's what we're really talking about when it comes down to knife crime. Why is it so advertised why are we on the playing field the way that we are?
So I'm gonna go out now. It's not just because of the media. I'm gonna go slightly against the grain in all honesty. I blame the parents.
Wait. Can we ask? What's the question that we're gonna ask though?
I was just gonna say we're putting a lot of focus on individual, but a lot of these individuals are being groomed. So like when we're talking about like me and my
But then
mum
who's
talking
that down to? You being groomed.
No, but wait.
But
Let's
then
not ask the
how can?
question.
But then have you not heard about what's it called when kids go into the chicken shop and you've got what's that called? When after school when it's like a
Getting recruited to.
yeah, like do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
that's what you mean by
there's no controlling that. Like if there's a child, obviously you can blame the parents to some degree, but you can't stop your child going to school, coming back from school, and being on an estate. Like you know what you see.
I'll tell you why you can blame the parents, because you can actually get your children in order from the jump and from the get-go.
I don't think
go straight home. Hold on. Go straight home as soon as you finish. Like, let me not be stereotypical, but I know I have a lot of Asian friends. As soon as school finished, they was going to after school club to do more mock test exams, more different things like that would actually benefit them personally.
But that's a whole different culture and upbringing, though. So
Exactly.
You can't really compare it.
You can compare it. So are you trying to say that as a culture we have failed our children?
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying we're not Asians.
Are you trying to say as a culture we have failed our children?
Can we talk about teachers' responses to Asian children and black children? Let's talk about that as well. Because the disproportionality of black boys and exclusions, that's something.
Or even excluded.
But let's go to the behaviour. Yeah? Do you see Asian children behaving in a certain kind of manner that necessarily? Some of them.
Yeah, but who chooses what's aggressive and what's angry, and do you know what I mean? Like who are the teachers?
What's the guideline?
Realistically
Yeah,
as well,
like,
I want to know like what statistic of Asians like you're comparing it to as well. That to
No,
say
no,
it's
no
like
statistics. I'm just saying
it's
my
like a
personal
bigger proportion of Asians that are being studious in comparison to black and other cultures. And also, I don't know. I know like people in other cultures that also don't decide to take the best route as well. It's not just black people that do that. I don't know, I find that really confusing. I do literally think it is due to your environment and the government. The reason why is because we all learn from our subconscious. We soak things in. Everything that's around us, the people we speak to, we are soaking it in every minute. So if you are in an area where there's not a lot around for you to do, your parents are working because you don't have a lot of money, so you come home, you've got nowhere to go. There's no youth clubs. You're going to go hang out with your friends at the park because that's the nearest place. People come and approach you, things like that happen. You're looking, you need money, you want to go out, you want to do things. Things are expensive now.
And this
so
is
this
why
they're getting money. They get
this is
involved
what-
in drugs, and it leads on to knife crime after
This is
that.
why I blame the parents.
No, but
I don't think it's the parents' fault. If they're working, most people are working class at this point. This is what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Parents can't be around entirely 100% of the time.
So it's the parents' job to ensure the safety of the child. Yes or no? Is it not the parents' job to ensure the safety of the child?
Nah, but
They can try, but you are living your own life. You are living your own life. They are not going to hold your hand every step of the way to pick you up outside of school. You tell your child to come home for 3:00 and they choose not to come home for 3:00. What are you going to do?
It means you have no discipline. It means in your
But what
household
can you do?
there is no discipline.
Fair enough, but
Yeah, but
what
that's
can you do?
easy to
Children
say.
can
You
stray
can't
away.
just say that. Like,
I
people
was
have been
brought up in a
raised.
disciplined family, and I decided to go and do my own thing.
So
I got a
to
tattoo
say-
when I was 15. My
Sorry,
mum
you
didn't
need
want me
say
to
that
get a
your mum
tattoo. I
knew
still
exactly what you
disobeyed
was
it.
getting up to when you was leaving school.
Nah.
So let me
I
say
know
this.
that.
Hold on. Wait.
Why
Show me.
Hold on. Before we get, let me bring it back. First and foremost, let's kind of like understand, understand, and overstand where it is I'm coming in terms of perspective. I'm saying, why are you laughing? I'm saying, I'm serious, man. It's serious. I'm saying we can blame parents because the inception of where everything starts is at home.
Yes.
And it takes a family, and it also takes a village, or the saying of it takes a village to raise a child, or a village to raise children, or whatever.
So that's a bit of a contradiction.
So
within
it's
itself.
not a contradiction.
That is a contradiction.
I'll tell you why it's not a
Because
contradiction.
regardless of what you're doing at home, if the village is not right,
Exactly.
So let me tell you.
When she was saying, that your subconscious is soaking in everything around you, she's blaming the government because the government
standards of the neighborhood are no longer
the government are creating it.
Are you telling me in community centres they want gang violence or gang activities happening? Hold on, are you telling me that?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Are you telling me that in
I'm
certain
telling you
places,
I'm pretty sure,
people
like,
never used to
I'm pretty sure like
you're
most
looking
estates
too
would
far
rather
down the
prefer a community centre where they can go chill, do whatever they need to
Apex.
do. Cool. But that's
Okay, so then why weren't there more safety measures at these community places then?
We have to
The
understand that
government
some
have
of
cut police, they've cut everything in there that's actually keeping people
some of these
safe.
community
Again,
centres
it just
aren't
leads
actually
back to
open.
them.
I'm saying that's an element.
Some of these community centres aren't actually open or even funded by the government. That's what we need to deep as
But
well.
we're
Some of
looking
them.
at police though, so say something kicks off at one of these community centres and you need to call the police, they're cutting police left, right and centre.
They are.
Regardless of how much we dislike them, we can't fend for ourselves. Say someone comes in, they decide to shoot them up or whatever, we can't fend for ourselves in that situation. Guns are illegal. If we defend ourselves, we'll probably end up in jail as well. We as much as we dislike the police, we need them. Government has cut that as well.
So,
every little avenue.
This is an actual
Chop,
fact.
chop, chop.
Yeah.
Can I-
70%, hold on, 70% of knife crime incidents happened to or were perpetrated by people who grew up in a single or lone parenting, That's where I'm coming from.
I don't.
And that's a fact, and we can actually put
I
under
can't sit
whatever
on
you do.
statistics.
That's a fact.
We're trying to get into that.
So I'm trying to say, maybe there's something here that you can actually attribute to why this is
I'm trying
happening.
to agree
I
with you,
think
but at the same
individual
time, you
needs to
can't
their
just
own-
overlook what she was saying. Like, fam,
It's an element.
okay, wait. The government create the environments that these people are growing up in, yeah? Before even that, like colonial powers fucked up your ancestors and gave them mentalities and broke up their
hold on,
communities.
see, now we're...
Wait. They broke up the community.
Now it goes somewhere.
No, but this is
That
where
community
you have to
spirit
look
has
at
been
it.
broken.
That community spirit is broken. The root is gone.
We need to understand, Joe. When did it become okay for us to look at each other as an enemy?
Generationally, like your parents. Yes, their generation might have looked like they.
So you're blaming our parents, actually.
No, but I'm not saying that. Like they have given us certain things like
No parent has
little
said,
things like, even little things
"Here,
like
son,
even,
go and kill someone."
No, but even
no
little
one
things,
said
yeah.
that.
So are you blaming our parents?
But little
I'm
things
not for
no,
not
no.
bringing us up in
Listen,
a community like
little things
center.
in black communities like respect me. I'm your elder. Regardless of whether an adult is trash talking a child, respect me. I'm your elder. Do you not think that gets programmed into a youth's mind,
Yeah.
and then they go out on the roads?
You know
and now
what?
roadmen have youngers and they're olders. Where do you think that type of shit comes from? Like, fam, this is all given to us by parents, and then we go and perpetrate.
So
it.
what you're doing is blaming the parents.
No, but the government,
interlinked.
the government is linked to
Am I going
colonialism,
crazy?
and they've created the environments in our psychology and our immediate environment still because colonialism hasn't died. So they're just continually perpetuating it, and then they use the media and other tools to keep it going, to further the agenda and to keep you.
I'm pretty sure when that whole
Basically saying it's a pyramid effect. Isn't
it's a
it?
pyramid effect, bro. It's
that
top
is-
down.
This is what I am saying. Come on, like literally.
Your parent-
let's
your
be real.
generation
The
is part of
government
it,
love
bro.
this as well. Like, let's be real. They are lapping this up. They want us to all be divided. Like, this is perfect for them. This is why they're not doing more.
nothing about
it.
This is why. Like, this is amazing.
It's
this is
typical.
bliss.
It's typical.
Have you heard of population control? Like, this is literally a thing.
Yeah, it's called
like,
divide
I don't
and
even mean
conquer,
to
bro.
go
It's
too
divide
deep,
and conquer.
but
Like,
this
it's-
is the thing. I blame the government. Like, they want us to blame our parents. They want us to resent our parents.
I'm trying to
it's
say,
all of those
wait. This
No,
is madness.
it's all of those
Hold on,
things.
this is
You have to
madness.
blame all of those things.
Yeah,
and you have to
I
then go into
agree.
yourself
I
and
agree.
be like,
This
raw.
is madness.
I
Are you
do.
telling me that we don't all have
A
the
brain, yeah,
psychological
we do.
brain and we don't have our own heads to say this is right, this is wrong?
Everyone has
Hold
their own
on.
heads, but
Hold
you're
on.
not given
Hold
that.
on. No.
Just
Because what you're doing is now, what you're doing is now saying, actually, you know what? I'm taking the onus from our parents and I'm slapping it on the government.
Nah, man.
It is your
No,
fault. That's what you guys are saying.
no, you're looking at all the elements and you're seeing the blame trickle down from where it started, and then you're cutting it off at the root, which is you, and saying, "Alright, cool. Now I know I have my own fucking mind, and I've been given all this
Boom.
shit.
That's
now
it.
I need
Now
to
I'm
be
gonna
like,
change it.
what?
Boom.
What?
Like,
Like,
enough
But if
people
your
see it
parents
now.
gave that to you,
people haven't reached that level because they're stuck in the environments that they're in.
No. Look. Alright, you go from.
so we're blaming
No.
parents for
We're
reaching
not
that
blaming
Then it's
parents.
grandparents as well. Then every
Where do we go from?
Exactly, that's what I'm trying to say.
Where do we go from chilling in our estate,
crazy.
looking out for,
Going
looking
crazy.
for our pagans, looking for our ops? Where did
Who's
that sort of?
who's pagans?
Don't be silly, man. Like, don't be silly. Like,
Stop saying
like,
pagans, because who's the enemy?
like, exactly. So where do we get our mindset
Wait,
to say that's
can I
my
say
enemy?
it?
Like,
And your
where
enemy
does that
with-
all come from?
and
Because that person that is supposedly your enemy lives a whole nother council state
Yeah.
away from
It doesn't
you.
have to. It can be across the road. Let's
But
not.
we're not beefing, like
No,
literally,
but
we're not
the image
beefing
of your
across the
enemy,
road.
yeah,
We're not beefing across
No, but
the
the
road.
fact
sorry.
that your
I'm
your
listening
enemy
to
has
that.
the same image as you is telling in what you've been given. That's what I'm trying to
Let's
say
listen
to
to
you.
her.
Like,
Like you don't hear of
this is
road
wait,
beef.
wait,
You hear
wait,
of
hold on,
area.
So what I said, I blame the individual. Yeah, it's because at the end of the day, the government's been in place for a long while. Like you can go back to 1948 and all this stuff happening. Windrush come in. Our grandparents would tell us bare stuff. Yeah, this ain't changed. This ain't changed. This ain't changed. Who am I to now say? Yeah, it's the government because we've been in the same government. Are we not learning from? Wait. I'm not saying our parents. Okay, this is where I understand the whole interlink stuff, yeah? But this is why I'm just saying, at this point in 2018, nearly 2019, it's down to the individual. Because if you want to go back to when things were cool and we had like a community idea, yeah, of how the black community should be, not even just black people, Asians, whatever, because when the Black Panthers were together, there was Asians, there was Chinese, we was all working together with the common cause. So if I'm to say now, where's the community idea gone? That is down to an individual because you're going to say, oh, we're always saying, where's the community? You are the community. As an individual, what you're doing for the community is work. Do you understand? So if I just take time out of my day when I see a school kid to be like, cool, like, you're right. Or just tell her, your natural hair is beautiful. Or just whatever, like, oh, like, you got money? You got lunch money? Just whatever work I'm doing in the community is that. So let's not say government. Let's not say parents.
You're overlooking the fact that
everyone here... No. I'm not saying... All right,
community starts at home in the family.
I understand that. I understand that. But at the end of the
broken, there is no sense of community.
So you're backing my point.
I understand with
yes,
parents,
but those environments have been fostered and made
now,
intentionally for you to feel and grow up and experience that way.
At this point now, in 2018, I've got little comes to 11 are coming to tell me about astrology.
The date don't matter, bro.
Tell me about listen. They're coming to tell me about astrology. You can learn shit. There's no excuses. Parents have been. You can't shelter your kid from certain knowledge now. If a child wants to go out and be like, cool, I want to learn about this, you can go and learn about it. Regardless if it's demonology, psychology, whatever, ology,
you're saying,
you can learn about it. Wait. So, what I'm trying to say, if me as an individual have family around me and like young people, whatever, and I'm like, cool, I'm learning this or I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I can influence an individual. If there's more than one of us on the same thing, oh, this happens, we're being treated like this, that's going to start to penetrate the mind. It's not about these, and what you have to understand is with these people in knife crime, now we're talking about people getting groomed and stuff, they've still got an agenda. They want to make money. They probably got kids and they want to do, like, it's a game. You got to be playing the game.
I used to agree with that point that you just said. I hear what you're saying. I used to agree with the point that information's available now. Like there's no excuses.
It's not about just individuals. I'm talking about individuals. I'm talking about me. Like I'm not talking about the information.
Yeah, but that's easy for you to say because you have been afforded the social, like wherever you grew up. Like obviously, like the sociology around where you grew up gave you that quality that you want to go and learn more. Not everyone. Yeah, but not everyone has some sort of...
it could be that you even was raised in a rundown area. So then, being said,
social media, yeah? You choose who you follow, right?
Yeah, but not everyone has that support mechanism or that foundation.
You know what they say?
I'm not
it comes down to...
It's not excuses.
I understand government and that, but government hasn't changed. You can't change your parents. You come from them. If your mum's a crackhead, you can't do anything about it, B. Like, you as an individual, you've got, like, me as an individual, I'm saying, I feel I'm responsible for maybe the next generation. All the young, I know I can't, okay, maybe I can, yeah. But in terms of changing the world, that's not my thing. I'm just going to try and influence the young individuals I have in my life. All the family members, all the friends, do you understand? The cousins. That's my community thing, my friends.
But they're trying to look collectively. I hear what you're saying because I agree with you.
No, it's not about collectively because we have to start here.
No, I get that.
The government's doing this.
But to get to the individual point where you recognize knowledge of self is what you're basically talking about, where you start to really look at yourself and your condition, you have to shed all of the bullshit that you've been given mentally, like psychologically. You have to actually realize that.
Threshold to say,
people don't even have the resources to go and like the mental resources. They might have their phones, but they don't have the mental resources to get to that point that you've reached. Yeah. That's a journey, bro. That's not
really
easy.
Can I just add as well? Yeah, okay, we can say it is down to the individual. 100%, we are the creators of our own realities, our own experiences here. You can't necessarily say that someone made you do something because you choose to do it yourself, exactly. But we have reached that level of understanding here. We know this.
Yeah.
People say, you're woke. People know this. But some people don't know this. And we get educated from one place called a school. and again, the school is owned and run by governments. We don't learn how to do these things ourselves. I learned that I was the creator of my own reality probably 2 years ago. I thought it was just go to uni, do this, do that. I didn't realise that I could take different changes. It took a level of experience. It took a journey, like he said. Some people don't get that, and they learn things from school. They learn things from different places like that. And I do think, as much as I do agree with you, yeah, the individual is to blame, because not everybody, you know, does that. But at the same time, there are some individuals out there that get stabbed and they've had nothing to do with it. Then what do you say about that? That can't be the individual's fault if that's happened to him for no reason. We're talking about knife crime. What can be done as knife crime as a whole? Someone literally walking down the road, going to buy sweets. There was that Romanian guy that got killed and his family have gone back to Romania. He was 19 years old, went to the shop to go and get some food, and a group of people went and rushed him and stabbed him for no reason. He was in the country for 2 weeks. What do you say about that? How is that the individual's fault? How is that the individual?
I'm not talking about the victim.
No, we're talking about knife crime in general. It shouldn't be happening, but why is it happening to even people that aren't involved?
Because of lack of parenting.
It's lack of parenting. Down the road has lack of parenting.
Hold on. How many parents? Hold on. How many parents know what the perpetrators are currently doing, or even know their kind of friends or surroundings? We choose to be blinded by the fact that actually, as parents, I'm not a parent or nothing, but as parents, they haven't done enough, and they're not currently doing enough in order to be involved in their children's life, in order to know what it is they're doing. They should have done it from the foundation and the inception of when they started. We cannot allow the government. Hold on. We cannot allow the government to be solely put as the blame. We expect this. Hold on. We expect it from the government. This is what the government does. If you guys are going on the notion that the government is meant to do something, no. This is what governments have been doing for years, like you actually said. So why is it that we actually expect the government to do something now? No, it's down to the individuals and down to the parents to actually say, listen, this is what we need to do. Enough is enough. We need to come in. We need to change things. And it starts from us, and it starts, or should have started, from our parents.
I just think it's a little bit unfair, man, because there are some parents out there that are flipping going to church every Sunday. They're God-fearing women, and their children end up doing something like this, and they've literally tried to instill their best. I do not think every single parent out there is to blame for the reason why their child is out there. I think that is very, very unfair.
You have an onus on your child.
You've even got that, there's a flipping story about it on EastEnders running right now as an example of that. That woman, that her child got killed, she had nothing to do with that. And it's showing you a reflection of things that do happen. I really just don't think it's fair, man, to blame every parent.
Wait.
I feel like there's so many contributing factors, but it cannot be every parent's fault. You bring a child into the world, you are not going to hold their hand to the grave. You're going to die.
Let me tell you why. We're talking about gang violence. Hold on. We're
talking about knife crime.
Knife crime. But a lot of it is perpetrated by gang violence in London. Am I right or wrong in saying that?
No, there's Birmingham. They're having a lot of knife crime problems. It's not just in London.
But a lot of it is perpetrated by gang violence. Yes or no?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, cool. Now that we've come to the general consensus of that, now we need to understand something. If it's done by gang violence, these guys obviously have problems with each other. Am I right or wrong in saying that?
It's not with each other. It's
okay. Even if it's okay, let's take the notion that it's gang violence. Let's not even let's say not even always.
What's a gang? Wait.
It's
a group of individuals. It's a group of individuals. Yes or no?
Because a group of people can be called a gang.
Yes.
This right here is a gang.
Your family.
So where do you go from performing?
Let's not talk semantics.
No. We have to talk semantics, but we have to because we're talking gang war and gang knife crime. Yeah, this is what you're saying is the foundation of knife crime, gang violence. Where does a person go from? Alright, cool, I'm just chilling. But no. I don't think it is just media. I don't think it.
Listen, let's talk about South London, East London. I don't even really know about West London too tough. North London, let's talk about these places.
Gang violence is very real. Gang violence is very real. But where do you go from?
Just to say this, majority of people because I have a lot of friends that have been involved in gangs. A lot of them, FYI, a lot of them came into a gang or two, into a group of people because they didn't have an outlet, whether it is via speaking to their parents or anything like that. And actually, and maybe not for you, but for a lot of people, yes. And hold on, please let me finish. And actually, it actually came to a point where they actually became your fathers, or your brothers, etc. And you became you become a certain type of family. That's the honest truth. How many of them can go to their parents and talk to them about real life subjects? And that's how you come into the real life. And that's how you come into the sense of hypermasculinity. Because you can't even speak to your own parents.
Cool. You said what you said, but what are you currently struggling with that you can't go and speak to your parents? That thus leads you to go and kill someone. What leads you?
Like she said, a lot of your parents either at work, either don't really have time, either emotionally disconnected.
Some people are born without parents. Are they suicidal? Are they murderers? Are they massive? No. It comes down to a person's mentality at the end of the day, but you do not. Boredom creates idle hands. Like idle hands creates crime in that sort of sense. So if you aren't doing nothing, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to go out and carry a knife. You can be chilling on the block doing fuck all, if that is the case. Do you know, like that? You do not need to be geared up to with the idea that
Why are you chilling on the block doing fuck all?
No.
Because but wait. I'm saying if you want to go and chill on the block. No. I'm saying if my initial point was idle hands creates crime. So you don't need to be on the block doing anything. You could go and read a book. You can go and do something else. If you're
Thank you.
Hold on.
50p for 1 hour. 50p for 1 hour into the side.
Hold on. Because more time it is youth, So it is youth. These are youth that are actually sport. They're involved in sport. So where does it come from? Just playing football, basketball, whatever, to go and pick up a knife to go and stab someone? Like, let's be real with it.
Okay, you asked him a question. Let him answer it.
Let's be real with it, bro.
He wasn't even listening.
Where does it get?
I'm too much into it.
He's basically saying, when does it get from the point that like I'm bored and I haven't got anything to do?
So let me go and stab someone.
Let me go to stab someone.
Because I'm looking at someone else. No, fuck that. Because I'm looking at someone else and my dad. I'm looking at someone else and my dad. And my dad's telling me, Joe, go and stab someone.
No.
Dickhead.
If your parents gave you a book from early.
Bro,
they give you a
look,
book.
to this day, I've already said my dad wasn't at home, my mum was working night. I haven't to this day stabbed someone, bro. I haven't carried a knife with the intention that I'm gonna stab someone. Let's be real with it, bro. Let's be real with it, bro. Let's be real with it because my parents are at home. I can't talk to my parents.
You're not listening to him. You're not listening to what he's saying.
What
he's saying.
Some people are bored and stupid, bro. Let's be real with it.
You're not listening to him. What he's saying basically is that some people's family, like, haven't got that sense of family, and then they eventually go and substitute that. They go and substitute that.
There's no justification. There's no justification
that are going to kill someone. I'm sorry, that's
no. This is what's going on.
But bro, if you ain't got a family, if you ain't got a strong family,
but this comes down to a person's sensibility.
Listen,
you know what is right or wrong.
Thank you.
You know what comes down to right and wrong.
I'm saying parents. No, he said government. Now he's going into individual.
I said sensibility, a person's individual sensibility.
Yeah,
because you are bored. We went down from the whole government not providing. Yes, your parents at home, but then it comes down to an individual and what they're going to do with themselves.
So it trickles down.
Before the individual is your parents, yes or no?
That doesn't. You said it's a video.
Before the individual is your parents.
You know what parents are?
I'm
like you hear some people that have gone through.
If your parents put books, powerful knowledge.
My mum had a encyclopedia in our house
and made you read it. You will not come out the same way.
You see,
you will not come out the same way. If your parents, I'm not doing alright. If your parents took you, what's going on?
Okay, wait.
If your parents took you and put you in study school,
you know what? I think.
Guys. She has something to say. She wants to respond to what you're saying. Let her speak.
No, there's been different parts I wanted to jump in, but I think I agree with both. I can hear from both sides what you're both saying, but like you're not listening to each other. Both of what you're saying plays into why this is happening, and ultimately this whole epidemic of youth violence. Like, I don't feel like there's one thing to blame. There's so many different things. I feel like afterwards we start talking about solutions as well, and we need to also how we're talking about the individual and how the correlations between you said someone chilling on a block. How does that lead to then you picking up a knife stabbing someone? The way that young people have become desensitized to violence is
people think
bad.
it's a game.
Like it's bad. Like even like on the news when I hear someone's like being killed, it don't shock me no more. But that's not normal. Like kids are killing kids. That's not normal. Like do you know what I mean? And like as a community, as a whole, like all like London and all over the country, whatever, we've become desensitized, and it's like it's not normal. And I feel like as a community, like the black community, we need to be doing more.
Yeah,
but period. Like families, I'm talking all, like as a collective. Obviously, like you said, like the roots step, they come from the home and everything like that. But at the black community right now, I'm not talking about the roots, I'm talking about now. We need to stand up and educate our young people. Ultimately, there's different things that play into it. But if we know that like you said, if it starts in the home, yeah, you're telling me parents have a big role in how a child is socialized and what they do in the future. Obviously, it's on us now to be guiding a new generation and to guide these young people and to educate. Do you know what I mean? If that's what you're saying, if you're saying dashing a book at you is from early is going to solve this, which I don't.
Not every child likes reading.
Exactly, which I don't necessarily agree with.
Whose fault is that no child likes reading?
No,
don't get caught up on that, man. That's not even.
See, now that's a different. That's a different. Hold on, that's a different.
It's definitely not different.
There's people called audio books.
No. It's
There's
not
so
even
many.
just.
What we call a picture book.
What does it do to a child, yeah, when you've grown up here, and let's say you're in a household where they're telling you have to go uni, have to do this, have to get A. Wait. Okay. And at school, in school, you're not getting A's. You're getting kicked out, you're failing, and the teachers are telling you you're not going to be
constant pressure.
You've got no male role model leading you.
Again, is that not failed parenting? Yes or no? Is that not failed parenting?
Listen. Academically, if a child...
Josiah. If your parent is putting pressure on you, is that not failed parenting? In not understanding that your child's not doing good and taking them and do something different. Maybe a vocation.
As a parent, you want the best for your child.
Yes. But
so sending them to school, you want them to excel at studies that are going to give them the foundation to excel.
But if you're not understanding your child, you haven't understood your child by that logic.
No.
It goes back to what she was saying. You don't understand yourself, bro. If you don't understand yourself, you ain't gonna understand raising a child. So then you're gonna create a fucking imbalanced family unit. Then your child's gonna go to a gang. Like if they don't feel comfortable at home, where gangs are prevalent on the street, they might end up in that situation, which is how it happens. And then they eventually fall into doing stupid shit like that. But you guys aren't listening to each other to see how that narrative can actually happen. Yes, you can have a stable family unit, but that family unit might not be efficient in how being a family unit. Then the child might end up on the roads because they don't feel comfortable at home. And then, yes, they might have a family unit that's giving them basic principle morals of don't fucking do this, don't do that. But they have a new family unit, which is a gang, because a gang is another family unit at the end of the day.
But what is a gang, though?
Bro, it's a...
Oh, this is it, though. But what is the gang, though? What is the gang? Because like I'm saying, when you was growing up, your friendship was a gang. If we're going by that term.
It's a social structure for you to feel you have a place in a hierarchy.
I think we just live to the social equators.
Outside of it, yeah, but it's a place where you feel like you have a social hierarchy.
You live to the hype, man.
And you're a part of something. You're part of a group. You're part of a unit. And you all support each other. That's what your family's supposed to be there for. If you don't feel that in your family, then you might go and try and substitute that somewhere else. And then if that family unit has different morals and different structures, you might feel pressured eventually to end up in situations where you eventually end up stabbing someone. They might have given the basic principles.
Good luck to you and your new family then, boy, because I do not want...
Brother, it happens though. This is the thing, it happens. Whether you like it or not, this happens.
And this is what I'm saying, it comes down to a person's sensibility.
It's not about sensibility though.
Because cool, you could find a new relationship with a new group of people and you could say, alright, cool, this is my family. But again, as a person, you still know what is right and wrong.
Hold on, wait, stop.
Wait, can we talk about the fact that these are children? You're saying it's a person. They're not big 18.
They're impressionable.
They're
impressionable, man.
13, 14, 15-year-olds killing each other. They're young. They're not wise
12.
enough to know better.
Before they get to 12 years old, you're telling me.
I'm done. Let's be honest, innit?
They're children. They don't know. They don't know.
Have you ever carried a knife? Have you ever carried a knife?
I'm done.
Have you ever carried a knife, Josiah?
I'm done, bro.
Wait, have you?
If you can't be honest.
Wait, have you? I'm asking you.
If you can't be honest here, he said no. You can't be honest here.
We're being honest then. Have you ever carried a knife? And if you did ever carry a knife, did you worry with the intention of that you're going to kill someone?
If we can't be honest here, it's fine.
What do you mean?
Ask him a question.
Some people don't
have you carried a knife?
Oh yeah, he knows to answer.
Doesn't want to answer.
No. Okay, he wouldn't.
Have you carried a knife, Josiah?
The same question, same answer that he gave.
I'm asking you.
I'm asking
you a question. Have you ever carried a knife?
If you just answer that question, I'm not answering it.
I'll start. I've never carried a knife.
Have you answered it?
You guys can
You're
do.
next.
If he does not answer that question, man is not answering it.
I'm going to
He doesn't answer that question.
You answered it.
I ain't answered shit. For the record, I ain't answered shit until he answers.
Can we establish the fact that a lot of young people don't always carry a knife to kill, but because they actually feel unsafe?
Exactly.
And they feel like if they become victims, that they can protect and defend themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sorry, I'm not dying for no one. No one. I have intentions of living as long as possible. And if someone's got a problem with me, I'm sorry, that's
Do you
your
feel
crime.
like all the people who've been victim of knife crime didn't have intentions of living as long as possible?
No, I don't know. I think when you get so walked up in the idea, yeah, you get familiar with the idea. You know, I could die before my time because of the activities of what I'm doing.
Do you not think you can die before your time?
No.
Exactly.
But that's coming from like I could die from
Exactly. So if
die.
someone hasn't carried a knife before and they start hanging around with a new group of people and they're doing certain things and they know they're seeing certain things happen and they're like, right, okay, I'm in this setting. Maybe I should start for my protection. Maybe just I'm trying to live long.
But can I tell you something?
That's how they
I understand something. Yeah, we're talking about knife crime. Yeah, we're not talking about violence in general because violence in general is a big thing. Knife crime is a small bit of violence. Yeah. Okay. So, you can use knives in violence. Yes. Okay. But there's guns, there's fists, do you understand? There's emotion. But do you understand? So, when we're talking about knife crime, are we talking about London? Are we talking about UK? Are we talking about? Because knife crime, there's it's not like it's not like we've just started using knives. Like, people machetes. You could go all around the world.
It's violence. It's violence at the end of the day. It's obviously just
so violence, I feel like where we're going into how people's mentalities are and stuff, if we're focusing on not London, just, us, that little young people, youth violence. Is that what we're talking about? Okay, because then it's different to kind of things like, what we have to understand is the media will...
I can't blame the media. Hold on.
Just chill. Let me finish. Hello. Relax.
It has
the
a part
media.
To play. Drill music.
Relax. Let me finish. The media has the ability to make things look like it is associated with youth when it's not. So if someone just gets stabbed up going to the shop, it doesn't necessarily mean it's youth. It doesn't necessarily mean it was gang related.
This is what I'm saying.
Just
knife crime as a whole.
It could just happen. So if we're talking about, we can't really. It's a big thing. You can't just blame someone. It's everything's interlinked. But
100.
Trust.
When we're talking about, we really have to try and pinpoint what we're talking about.
I think because every one of those elements needs to play a part in making it better. I guess the parents could play a part, but at the same time, if the parents can't step in, then the government should step in. And if the government can't step in,
I think
then
it's
the community
community before
then
government.
after the community. But obviously, I didn't mean it in chronological order, but you see where we're going with this. It's every single one of those elements has to play a part, but at the same time, in the centre of that is, like you said, it is the individual,
I think we need to do more with our free time. I think we need the resources to be educated enough to know that there's more to the world than what there is. I think we need to be given the skills that will enable us to, if it comes down to it, go and work in the open world at any given part, of the world, than rather what we're just given now. Because when you do look at other countries that are taught differently, we get more immigrants coming over here to actually learn because they've got the resources to do it. So that being said, if there isn't no active male role model figure in the house, being via older sibling or dad, go and look for a cousin, older cousin, uncle, something like that, before you go and look for a person on the street who's going to tell you to go and sell drugs and go and pick up a knife.
Personally, solutions. Yes, like just I was saying, the government been, or whatever, like colonial powers, government, whatever, whoever you want to blame as an institution, have been on their bullshit for forever. Yeah. If the family are doing what they think is best, but it might create the environment for a child, or the child might just end up on the streets, whatever, that's, you can't go too deep into that. So I think that the solution is the people like ourselves right now who may be dotted around the city who don't know each other, yeah, who have this realization or this level of understanding, need to just get out in whatever capacity that they can and start networking and actually doing things, because it's easy to say, oh, we need more government programs, but again, those programs are going to need people like us, and we don't need to wait for governments to do that. Like, for example, like, even though I work in a art gallery right now, like the South London Gallery, behind the gallery they have a couple estates, and they have a studio inside the estate, and all the little, all the kids, they run it, like, but when these kids are coming in to like talk to me or whatever, like into the gallery, I'm just like dropping little things that I know that's gonna stick in their mind. They might not realize it yet, but just little things. You know what I mean? Like just planting them seeds. Like this is what we need to do. Like plant them seeds. If their families aren't doing it, we can't be concerned with that, because you don't know people's house situations. Same way police don't deal with domestics. You can't go and walk up into their house and tell their parents how to run their families. Like we just have to get to their kids and plant seeds, basically. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with literally everything he said. I think we need to get a very clear understanding that the government don't care about us. They don't. I'm sorry, they don't care about black youth. They don't care. I don't think they care about black people. Point blank period. They haven't, and they're not going to. Ultimately, black kids have been obviously, like, there are other kids who trouble. Right now, it's a black on black crime that's most serious. That has been most predominant, and they haven't done nothing about it. So I feel like we need to stop relying on the government, as much as they have the biggest role to play, and there's certain things that they need to be doing, but ultimately we need to be putting that pressure on them to be doing something about it. Do you know what I mean? I just think as a community we need to be putting like the programs in place. That we haven't even spoken about mental health and how there needs to be more black psychologists, black therapists that understand us. How can we try and help these kids in institutions that are systematically racist? There needs to be more of us rising up in these industries, you know what I mean? And then we need to just all these things that we spoke about, so many different, even like down to the home. Like we need more youth workers out and about on states, in schools, in the public health system. We need more. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like it's up to us as a black community, especially, to take a stand in these different areas and come together.
Okay, so I just think it all basically comes down to lack of education on all of those fronts. Lack of education on the government's front, lack of education on the parents' front, lack of education on the individual's front. I just think everything needs a lot more education, but most importantly, I think the main thing that we've actually missed here is the importance of our lives, really. I think this is the most important thing. Like we spoke about earlier, it's been really desensitized. It's so okay to kill someone, but what a lot of people forget is that you literally only have this one life, and once that person is gone, you will never ever see them ever again, and that is it. Education on all of those fronts, it needs to be pushed forward. There's no point in doing campaigns, stupid pamphlets, walks and marches. Like, it's really just not doing anything anymore. We just need to celebrate our lives and just understand that, it's important, man. We can't keep doing this.
Well, I think it comes down to lack of parenting. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the government, like I said, yo,
you're laughing.
No, seriously, hold on.
We're not
coming
meant to be blaming.
Solution. I'm not necessarily blaming, but you used obviously the government, and then obviously you used exactly. Please. So I'm saying lack of parenting. I think if we as parents, or when we become parents, can be more actively involved in our children's life, in understanding what they are doing as a whole, who they are around, and whatever is going on with them, honestly speaking, from the foundations up, everything will be blessed. Or better than what it is now.
I feel like we need to get involved because I agree with what everyone said, but in terms of things happening, there's a lot that's already been done. So there's a lot of programs and stuff where you can bring your children or that are substitute to school. Like, you've got women who homeschool their kids and just take on bare kids in each area. So you don't have to put your child in school. So it does come down to education. It does come down to having more black psychologists to understand our kids, but then we need to take that upon ourselves to kind of understand what's going on. I'm not saying we don't. I feel like we do, and we're just sitting on the knowledge and we're not really pushing forward, because there's so much things. Like personally, I can't say, oh, there's nothing happening for us in the community, because there's so much things I'm aware that's happening. We just need to be present more. And it's crazy because like if I get in a group of, I might be privileged to be in a social group of people who are kind of on this wave, but when I get in a group of people who are saying the same things, but when I go to events, it's like 4 people sitting down and 1 person talking. So we need to reach out and be present and support people who are doing things already now. Down to educating individuals, we need to connect more. So if, for example, if I do see someone else's, if I saw your little brother doing something, I'll be like, yo, I saw your little brother, like at such and such time. We need to connect and build up the community again and not stop blaming people.